Bless up, squad, and welcome back. This is MMA Jammin with Kyle the Mighty Chin. You don't know, we're just talking about combat sports and fun things about the sport. We're gonna cover a couple things that Jamaicans are going with, other Caribbean people, and as usual, I'm gonna start out the vibes with a song. Hide yourself. That's what you do, yeah. Hide yourself. Don't fight yourself. OGs if you hype yourself, 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 because you like yourself. So you hype yourself, don't fight yourself. Yeah, you don't know. Started out with that song because my good brethren Sanjay is here. We're going to be just talking about MMA and stuff, and he's a brethren of mine who is also an MMA fan, and I really wanted to have people come on the show, and he's been kind enough to to the podcast, not the show, to start out with me. And yeah, we're just gonna go vibes and talk a little bit. So Sanjay, bless up yourself. Welcome, my bro.
Yo, I got family.
Blessings.
You good?
Yeah, man.
Thanks for having me, yo.
Yeah, man, you don't know. So what go on? What you doing?
There, you know what I mean, it's tricky little time now. We're just with everything we're going worldwide, but we still do some music. We just shot a video the other day, a song called Old School Wine that we dedicated to the first ever dancehall queen Carleen.
Cool, man.
So we did like a documentary, like an interview around her, and then we shot the music video, and then we kind of edited like a little mini documentary dedicated to her.
That's nice. That's dope still. So
yeah,
I mean you're doing all kind of things. I know it was you've been with Contender. You produce on that as well?
Yeah. So television productions in general, produced for Magnum Kings and Queens and the Red Nephew Contender, and then also assistant producer for Rising Stars, co-host, as well as some front of the camera type stuff as well too.
So did your passion for MMA and combat sports start with Contender and like that whole the fact that it's a boxing show? So for those who don't know, Red Nephew Contender is actually a spin-off of the original Sylvester Stallone Contender. They bought the rights for that to be able to use it, and it was the most popular show at one point in Jamaica.
It's an interesting story how that came about actually, because we got the rights for the Contender, as you mentioned, from Mark Burnett worldwide. Then we realized that format just wouldn't work here. We're like, yo, let's do this, because Contender is not a live format. Internationally, it's a pre-recorded format. So we're like, yo, when we got what they call the Bible, which is basically how they do the show, whenever they have a format like that. When we got to, we're like, yo, this won't work this way. So we kept element of it as pre-recorded in terms with the features and the interviews and stuff like that, but we decided to do the fight live. And funny enough, we were the last territory worldwide that the Contender was successful. Contender had been cancelled everywhere worldwide except for Jamaica. We were the last remaining territory where it was successul. But to answer your question, Norman, so I mean, just to make it clear for everybody, I consider myself a casual. I definitely I love the sport or whatever. I don't know the technical terms. I'm telling you from now, Kyle there for that. I'm definitely a casual, but I guess the difference with me is that I've been a lifelong fan of combat sports, so I definitely have a little bit of an eye. Usually my predictions are not too far off when it comes to fights and stuff like that.
This is true.
I have an eye for, I understand styles, and like I said, it really started as a youth. Me used to ball every weekend when my parents miss WWF, which is now WWE, I guess. So
it started with wrestling.
Started with wrestling as a youth. Me and all of my brethren them usually just link up and do one bag of foolishness. I'll never forget the day when my brethren convinced myself to run at him and him going duck, and me just and man just goes a boom and fling me over. I'll know my car for me think about it when I told me drop on my back. And then from that day,
Yo, Jamaica people used to do some wickedness to each other.
Oh my God, dog. Yeah.
It's all because of the shit we see in movies.
DDT, you remember DDT?
Oh my God.
Pile drive. I don't know how we never block somebody's neck.
Yo, I tell people all the time, you survive childhood. That's it, it's literally a matter of survival. You get through that shit.
Brother, it was crazy. So I mean, from that, you grow up, and then one day I found out it was fake. So it was like, alright. That was heartbreaking, by the way.
Which is the funny thing, I'm careful when you say fake it up. But I mean, it's a funny thing because a lot of wrestling fans did not cross over to UFC. So like there's
That's
a thing,
interesting.
you know that out there like there's a thing like wrestling fans versus UFC fans and
Anyway,
MMA fans, because the wrestling fans, you'll hear the UFC people talking about how fake it is, and you know wrestlers don't like that, or the wrestling fans don't like that. So there's a little bit of tension out there.
Yeah, I feel like it's probably the reason why they don't like it is because it's like insecurity there. Like,
Yeah.
dog, come on, I consider myself a fan of both, but it's just it's fake, dog. It's fake. Let's call it what it is.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
Yo, they got vexed with Ronda Rousey the other day, and Ronda Rousey, basically was saying, yo, cause she's wrestling now.
Yeah.
She's been wrestling, and she came out and said, yo, there's no question about it. Like, when it comes to the two and which one is more taxing on the body and which one is more taxing on the mind, there's no doubt about it. Like the wrestlers are always working, which is one thing. Like they're always doing shows, they're always touring and all that stuff. But at the same time, the kind of stress levels, and people got vexed with her. Like when she said it, like the fans got up in an uproar, and it was bare things. Like,
Oh, yeah?
yo, what the fuck?
So I don't know. For me, it definitely. I can only speak for me as an individual. It definitely killed something in it for me, knowing
for
that,
sure.
you know what I mean,
For sure.
that it was scripted in a sense. So I lost interest there, and then I you don't know. I grew up in the Mike Tyson era, so I was always a fan of just like boxing. I guess
Right.
my attention shifted to boxing fully after that, and then somewhere along the line, I discovered. MMA and it was UFC actually how I discovered it, I guess. And it probably would have been around the Contender time as well too. To be honest with you, it would have been somewhere around that time. And then from then it's just I've been a big fan of the sport.
Makes sense.
Yeah,
It makes
yeah.
sense. That's
It's really interesting to me. Like, you know what I mean? And then what's even kind of gotten me more interested now is the fact that they've actually added a lot of wrestling type elements in term. The thing that was cool about it that made wrestling very interesting, especially for a young youth, was it was really like a soap opera for men.
It was.
It
is.
It's a soap opera for men. Like, you know what I mean? And that's what it was. But now, it's like the UFC. I feel like they've learned from that. In the short space of time that I've gotten involved with that, they create these little soap operas within the thing. Like,
You think they created?
I definitely think they created.
Like what?
I definitely think that there's these little dramas. I mean, you'll hear the wrestlers. The fighters. Say all the time, yo. You know, we spoke about it and we said we're
when
gonna
you see
cause some
Colby
drama.
Covington, you see Colby
Yeah.
Covington and them man, the Henry Cejudo and them man, they like
You have
taking the
characters
heel.
now. You have
Yeah.
characters now. Like
They're legit doing like a character for sure.
everybody, even Conor McGregor, who's
for
the
sure.
biggest star.
Chael Sonnen was the first, like,
Exactly.
to really play that hard.
Exactly, and then even what's his name, the guy who just got beat by the other day by Cejudo, in the retirement fight. Dominic Cruz, like he was a bit of that too, like, you know what I mean?
was.
And
He was.
but yeah, so these I feel like they learned that from wrestling.
Yeah, for sure.
And I feel like since the success of Conor McGregor, it's even been amped up a lot. Like, and to be honest with you, I even feel Dana White encourages it. I feel he even does it. Like, I think this whole thing with him and John Jones the
does
other
it.
day.
I think he does it for sure. I mean, he has a very strong sense of promotion. I mean, that's his whole thing.
He's a genius.
master.
He's a mastermind.
So him know what then pull people in, him know the kind of characters him want to develop and what him want to push for.
Exactly, and it's been no coincidence that since Conor McGregor, a lot of look at the fact that right now, Usman is the heavyweight champion, but nobody cares about Usman. Everybody's talking about either Kobe or they're talking about what our boy name again, macho guy. How am I forget his name? I'm a fighter.
BMF.
BMF, yeah.
Yo, I don't know. How is it slipping both of us? Masvidal.
Jorge Masvidal. Like,
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
like a man's man. Like, you know what I mean? He's like
Yeah,
a
man.
dude's dude. Like, you know what I mean? Like, but he is also a character. Like, you know what I mean? To me, it's no
Nah,
coincidence.
I don't agree with that at all.
No. You're getting me wrong. When I say he's a character, I don't mean he's a contrived character. It's a natural character,
he's a
but
natural
he's
character.
nonetheless he's
It's
a
like
character.
Nate Diaz. Yeah, him and Nate Diaz are. That's why that fight was so big. Is because they're the same kind of character. Them just real. Them just gangster. Them just down.
Yeah, they are what they
And
are.
that's what people need. Like, people are so attracted to that idea. You know what I mean? And it's something that me as a fighter, I've thought about it, you know, like, yo, do I need to go and put on a character? Do I need to be something else to kind of pull people in? I just don't have the energy for that kind of shit.
No, but you don't have to. But that's where the skill comes in terms of like, okay, how do I tap into more of who I am to make it sellable and marketable?
Yeah.
Like, and you don't have to get up and just become this weird, arrogant Kyle guy, because that's not you.
Yeah.
But what you can do is figure out ways to tap into the person that you are to make it relatable and sellable to other people. You know what I mean? And that's something that I would definitely encourage you to do. You know what I mean? Because you have a lot of you have all of the elements. You know what I mean? And marketing nowadays, brother, is not only specific to fighting. Music is probably even worse.
Yeah.
People are interested in your story before they're interested in you or in your craft. Yeah. And that's just where we are in the world today. It's just, it may be unfortunate, but it is what it is. I just say go. But as I said, you as a fighter, you have, if not the most interesting story of any fighter I know in Jamaica right now, you definitely have one of the most interesting stories.
Appreciate that.
And like I said, for me, I'm not even saying this because we're friends, because I got interested in your career before we were friends.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And actually, MMA is what kind of made us even really become friends.
Yeah. Watching fights and things like that.
Yeah, exactly. So no, man, you definitely have an interesting story. One of the biggest challenges we have as like people who don't fit the grain of what we're doing is that we need to kind of tune out those insecurities that are developed as a result of doing what we're doing. You know what I mean? It's so easy for me, and it took me a long time to figure that out too. Because as an uptown youth in dancehall, I feel like I overcompensated too much with this hardcore thing. With this hardcore thing where a lot of times my strength was my guitar. You know what I mean? Up to this day, one of my biggest songs is still, I will be a man of my word. I promise you that this much is true, girl. But then I spent too much time bedroom war, and I'm like,
try to rough it up.
And to be honest with you, it wasn't always necessarily a conscious thing. It was like I love dancehall because I could relate to that energy. I love that hardcore thing, and you know what I mean, growing up as a little angry youth, like I could always relate to that energy. So it's not necessarily but these are all subconscious things that play on us, whether and sometimes we don't even realize it. You know what I mean? So at our stage of life right now, it's very important to just kind of acknowledge it and just make sure that those little insecurities don't prevent us from achieving where we want to achieve, and you know what I mean? Just be conscious of how we're acting out on those insecurities.
Facts. Yeah, man. But yeah, we moving on to another topic. We had an exciting card last week. I don't know how much of it the card.
Did you just say well, maybe the card was exciting, man.
The card was exciting.
Yeah.
Now, I told everybody what was going to happen in the main event. I told them that
he told everybody too.
He did too, you know. He did mention. He says, I don't know what I'm gonna ragdoll this dude for however many rounds.
If you're expecting like
a first round knockout or something,
or a stand up, he's like, don't tune in.
Nah, but which is smart. Like, you got to play to your strengths. Curtis Blades knows that his strength is wrestling. He knows that he's fighting this tall guy with much more reach, extremely experienced kickboxer. So it wouldn't make sense to try kickbox with this guy. But you know what's interesting is, so Curtis literally set a record for the most takedowns in a heavyweight fight. And
I heard that.
When you can consider Cain Velasquez versus Junior Dos Santos, or just Cain Velasquez on a whole, and how Cain fights, and this man beat Cain record.
By far too.
I can't even remember what it was, like 18 takedowns or some shit.
Yeah, and I think he had tied him before with something, and then did that performance broke the record. And when I heard the stats, it was like, wow.
It's pretty impressive.
I
mean, I'll put the stats there. But like, Volkov, he was because, and what people need to understand is that wrestling is extremely explosive and therefore very tiring. So like, once you explode, it's like doing a 100-meter sprint. And if you miss that takedown, or if the person is able to fight off the takedown, it takes even more energy out of you. And if you take down the person and the person is able to get up, and you have to shoot again, that's a lot of energy. So the fact that he was able to shoot so many times, by the end of the fight, this guy was so gassed. By the third round, he was like, you could see it.
Yeah, he even said that by like the going. But he said he thought he won every round except the fifth. He probably lost the fourth as well. But or maybe not. Maybe who knows? Maybe not. But he said he thought he would have given the other guy the fifth. But yeah, he looked tired by the end of the third. But yeah, I guess it's understandable with his style. To be honest with you, I'm not a big fan of him, and I don't even know. I don't know why. Because I like wrestlers.
Yeah.
There's many wrestlers that I like, but it's just something about him. I mean, even, to be honest with you, I think I just don't like him. To be honest with you, the first thing that he did that I thought he was a little bit of an idiot was when a couple fights, I mean, this is recently still, but a couple fights ago, I can't remember the guy who he fought, this big guy who was talking a lot of shit in their fight. And then he beat that guy was talking so much shit, and Curtis was like, I'm not that kind of guy, I'm not gonna respond to that. Right. And then he beat the guy. And then he starts talking shit. He's like, oh, you big belly. He's like, what you gotta say now? I'm just like, oh, you little dick. Oh, so you just didn't want to talk shit before because you weren't confident. And I was like,
you think
you're either about that life or you're not, dog.
Nah, bro. Nah, I don't agree with that at all. Because here's the thing, like, well, I won't say I don't agree with that at all, but I do see the other side of it. In that, if somebody is before the fight, you just don't want to focus on any other thing than doing what you got to do. Some people find that shit talk distracting, and that's plain and simple. Like that's it. Like,
but that's not what he was selling it as, though. He was like, I'm not gonna. That's not me. That's not my style.
Yeah, because it's gonna be distracting. Because it's not his style, it's gonna be distracting. So when I say that, it's like, all right, a Dominic Cruz, a Jorge Masvidal, Nate Diaz, Conor McGregor, those guys, it's natural for them. That's the environment they live in. Like, they don't mind the shit talk, right? And it has a lot to do with how people grow up too, If you grow up and you're in an argument every day out the road, like you encounter that a lot, it doesn't bother you. So if you're not used to that shit, right? If you live kind of like the peaceful vibes, then you don't have the energy for that, and you might have a hard time dealing with it. So when you go and shit talk now, it's just not your natural character, so you're not going to do it. To say something afterwards now, it's different. It's like, yo, bro, you were talking all that shit, and I still kicked your ass. Like,
I don't disagree with that. Like that I probably is cool, but he was just like, oh, you big belly, like, and it's just like, yo, no, he sold it before the fight, like, yo, he has no class, he had and he was talking all of this type of like holier than thou type shit.
So he was a self-righteous vibe.
I thought so. And to be honest with you, I think, and this don't apply straight across the board, but I mean, I think that these people who shit talk, they understand show business, and it's not that they might not be that comfortable with it either, but they put themselves in a place where they become comfortable with it after a while. And I feel like a lot of the people who it does take a lot of energy.
My point was coming from a place where it has nothing to do with show business.
Yeah.
Like the names I mentioned,
yeah.
If them on the street with them and them alone, that's how them gonna talk. That's how them going vibes.
I don't know that. Especially with Conor.
You know that.
No, but when you hear people talk about Conor, for example, people
bro.
Always tell you that Conor McGregor is like the nicest motherfucker off camera.
To the people him like.
Yeah.
So is Nate Diaz.
Nate just looks like a dickhead.
The people who Nate like, because Nate is ruthlessly loyal.
Yeah, I can imagine. I can see that. And that's why people like him.
Yeah, and you see if you diss the man or feel like you're dissing, it's a whole different vibes, and that's just what it is. I get the vibes that them man there when them. That's how them. It don't matter if the lights are on. It don't matter if the camera is on. That's just who they are. You see me? Unlike a Chael Sonnen, unlike a Henry Cejudo, unlike a
maybe
Colby, unlike them man there. Like those guys, you don't get the vibes that. Although Colby is a prime example of what you're talking about, putting himself into it so much that like, but it's a job and it wears on him. It wears on you. You notice after a while Colby has to disappear. Like every time he goes hard, he takes a hardcore break. Him have to disappear for a while. And you don't hear from him.
But Kobe's a weirdo. Like, after that, even the last, the man run out of the ring and just no interviews, no. Like,
Exactly.
Come on, if you ain't be that,
because
be that.
that's not because it's not him. That's not really him.
Yeah. But I mean, back to Blade still. I thought that was a bitch move on his part.
Fair enough.
And it was more because my perception of it was like I don't do that. But then it's like I would have had no problem if after the fight he said, "Oh, you're not talking all that shit." No, huh, motherfucker.
Yeah.
Like that. But to be like, "Oh, you big belly bitch." He literally said, "Oh, you big belly." I was like, "Yo, this little bitch." Like,
yeah.
So it was just like, to me, it was just like I didn't like him from then. And then this fight, no, I didn't like the fact that he's like, I deserve a title shot. And fuck you, no, you don't. You don't deserve a title shot. The guy who deserves a title shot knocked you out in in like 2 minutes.
Yeah. Francis ain't got him.
How do you think you deserve a title shot when Francis hasn't gotten a title shot?
Francis has though.
No, not since.
Well, not since.
And Francis beat him since. Francis beat him recently.
But you know what the matchmakers care a lot more about the new guy fighting.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, like Francis, there's nobody. Francis had that rematch maybe 5 fights ago, or maybe even 6. And that fight wasn't no total blowout like how Francis blew out Curtis, a couple fights ago.
No, but I don't know if I agree.
what
Stipe
sense?
did blow him out. He blew him out. Francis landed some shots, but Stipe made him look like a baby.
I think Stipe made him look human. I wouldn't call that fight a blowout personally. I think Stipe definitely did show up his flaws in terms of the wrestling and stuff like that. But at no point, there was no 10-8 rounds. There's no.
So how bad him deal with him? Mm-hmm. You saw what happened next, bro. The Derek Lewis fight after that.
Psychologically, he was affected.
Broke him, bro.
Psychologically, he was affected.
And then, I think that performance has a lot to do with Francis, with why Francis hasn't gotten the thing yet. Now, he did go on to perform extremely well against Kane and extremely well against...
Everybody since.
Yeah, everybody since.
His last 4 fights have, if you add up the time, they've accumulated to 2 minutes.
Yeah.
2 minutes in 4 fights, brother.
Yeah.
4. So he's literally...
That last one, though, the one against Suriname, brother, there.
Yeah, Rosenstruck or whatever.
Rosenstruck.
Yeah.
He looks so sloppy, though. Like, his power has always been undeniable.
No, but he knew what he was going into with that. He knew that there were 2 strikers. He knew that this guy was all his.
Yeah.
They both had you cannot beat Francis with that style.
Yeah.
How are you gonna beat Francis with that style? He knew what he was doing there, so I don't even count that. Both of them went in there trying to knock each other's heads off.
See.
So I don't. But brother, the point is, for me at least, and even Dana White has said it, there's nobody more deserving of a title shot after the next fight than Francis Ngannou.
Which I can agree with.
Blades, get in the line. Stop talking about you deserve what you deserve is a rematch if you want a rematch. You probably, if you guys want to fight for the interim belt, I would maybe agree with you.
But yeah, I don't want to spend too much time talking about Curtis because there's so many other interesting things that happened that night on that card. I mean, the Josh Emmett Shane Burgos fight, which I told everybody, I was like, yo, that fight is gonna be fireworks.
I saw the highlights. I never saw that fight.
Oh, bro, it was so good, man. The man them really just extremely efficient kickboxing.
Emmett was the underdog though, right?
Could not have been. I would be very surprised if he was. But you know what? I wouldn't be that surprised because Emmett is the old dog.
Yeah, he was seen as the old dog versus the up and coming prospect.
Yeah. They always do that shit.
Wasn't he undefeated before?
No.
No?
No. Well, yeah, wicked fight.
And then there's the whole the big controversy fight.
That's what I'm trying to get to. I didn't want to jump to it too soon. You know what I mean? Jim Miller, I have to shout out Jim Miller because Jim Miller, and I said he was fighting an upcomer Roosevelt Roberts, you know what I mean, undefeated kid, and just landed that submission in the first round. It was very, very impressive, and I'm very excited for Jim Miller. Because it's the same vibes. Anytime them have the upcomer against the old dog, everybody's always jumping on the upcomer vibes, and then you just have those instances them just halt it, you know what I mean?
Yeah, even my boy the other day, I was a Textera versus Teixeira versus Smith.
Yeah, and everyone was like, yo, bro.
1,000 years later.
I'll stay on this.
Yeah, we'll flag out that topic next time. But I'm curious to know who you think how this fight this weekend going go.
Which one?
Hooker versus Poirier.
Oh God, dude. And you know, it's overwhelmingly people are leaning towards Poirier. And Poirier is my dude. Like I am a big fan. And I think Poirier has it, man. I think Poirier has it. I don't see anything in Hooker's past that necessarily would say.
Hooker's a tough cookie. He's a tough cookie, and I feel like it's going to be a good fight. But he fights. He's right up Poirier's lane. Like I think Poirier. I think it's going to be a good fight. I definitely don't see him. I wouldn't be surprised if it even goes the distance, to be honest with you. But
no, I wouldn't be. But I think Poirier will be able to pressure him and break him.
I think he's Poirier's style.
He's Poirier's style. And that's the thing. Like when you look at like the Edson Barboza fight versus Hooker, like the way Hooker is not pressuring enough to beat Poirier, because that's what beats Poirier. You have to pressure him, and you have to pressure him with everything. It can't just be you standing and banging with him.
Yeah, I definitely think that he has more of a chance than people are giving him. I think that he definitely does. He does have good striking. Like, you know, I think anything can happen once you're a good striker. You can connect, and
yeah,
I think in the same way that he's Poirier's style. Poirier is also kind of his style too, but I think Poirier is just better at it.
Well, the question is, who has Hooker beaten that is like Poirier?
Well, I mean, I feel like Felder is gonna fight. He's gonna fight him the same way Felder fought him. It's gonna be stand and bang and.
Yeah, but Felder don't move not like Poirier. Like,
he doesn't, and that's what I'm saying. That's why I think that Poirier is just a better version of all of that. And I think Poirier is tougher than all of those guys as well too.
Mm-hmm.
So I definitely don't think Dan is gonna win, but I wouldn't be surprised if he did. To be honest with you, like the right punch can connect there, and you know what I mean.
But I mean. Yeah, that goes without saying. Like we always kind of know that, you know, especially at.
But more so in their case, though. More so in their case, because their styles lend to that. Their styles lend to that, and Dan is not top 5 for no reason.
No.
You know what I mean? So I definitely think it's more interesting of a fight than people think. But I think Dustin will pull through, or I hope he will at least.
So you look at some of these wins. Paul Felder, like you mentioned, which was a really good fight. Ali Quinto. James Vick, a tall guy.
Yeah, James Vick is whatever. I don't rate Vick. I don't like him either.
Gilbert Burns.
He beat Gilbert Burns?
I didn't even know that.
I didn't know that. How?
He knocked him out.
He knocked him
in
out?
round 1. Gonna have to look for that.
Right. No, I definitely have to look for that. When was that?
Jim Miller.
That was in 07.
Oh, that was a long time.
Yeah, well, it had to be.
Yeah, 07.
Yeah. 07, wow. Yeah, he's a good...
No, that was 18. 2018.
Oh.
2018.
That's only 2 years ago.
Yeah.
How do we not know
and
this?
Look at Gilbert Burns now, fighting for the
title.
For the middleweight title.
Who you think has that?
Sorry, welterweight title.
Who you think gets that?
Boy, I think Usman.
Yo, I
well, here's the problem. I don't know. I have to think about it somewhere. Cause Usman's pressure is not the same when his wrestling isn't as much of a threat.
Gilbert Burns. Yo, I was about to say that I feel like Gilbert Burns knows him well through training. He knows why he's so confident. He could have easily said, yo, I want one more fight before the title, or I want to build up to... He feels like he's ready now. And I don't know. There's a strange part of me.
Gilbert should be. He should be confident. Because, I mean, he has that incredible jiu-jitsu game. His striking is looking
very
crisp.
good. Very good. And to beat Ting there as dominantly as he did was crazy. But I feel like momentum is on his side.
Nah, bro. I feel like the more I think about it, I think Usman overwhelms him with volume. I think Usman is able to
I don't see it.
keep distance and overwhelm with volume.
I think experience
as
is
much
what
as he
Usman is
needs
going to
it.
use
Yeah.
to pull the edge over him.
Yeah.
I don't think volume. I don't think he's going to be able to out-volume this guy. I think this guy has incredible cardio based on what he did with Tyron. He didn't even look tired at the end of that fight.
No.
And he was so busy.
Yeah, but Tyron didn't give him anything to do.
No.
Tyron gave him nothing to worry about, you know.
No,
nothing.
but there must be a reason why he didn't. He was feeling that power. Yeah, you know, I feel like there's a reason he folded up. And I don't know. Let's see. It's a very interesting fight.
True
But I think that I'm gonna go out on a limb here, and I think I'm gonna go with Burns
Yeah.
on a
Yeah.
limb. Let's see how it goes.
But let's come back to like this weekend coming up.
Yeah.
So you have the Dustin Poirier, Dan Hooker. I'm definitely going with Dustin Poirier. You have the Mike Perry, Mickey Gall. Legend. That's super interesting.
They're really trying to get Mike Perry a win.
Yeah, we said I'm feed him. I don't know, man. Mickey Gall has a great. Remember, you know, Mickey Gall has a great submission game.
Yeah.
And Mike Perry's, if he's shown any like glaring weaknesses, it would be
on the ground.
But I don't know if you saw last week, Homeboy put out a Instagram post with him hands on him
face
head
cut
up, and I'm
Dana
like,
said that's an old video. I think that's a cover up.
Okay.
I think that's a cover up. I think it's not. I don't think it's old. Well,
You don't think it's old?
We'll find out.
Yeah, bro.
Because if he has anything on his head, but Dana White said that he just did that as an old video to kind of spark some drama. But I don't believe that.
Well,
I wouldn't be surprised if it was a street fight. You think there's such a loose cannon, Perry?
Who Perry? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But you know, his wife a coach him, you know?
He's crazy.
He's lost. He's with no team right now, which is. I wouldn't be surprised if Mickey Gall just conditioning alone.
I'm very curious for that fight.
This man has no team. He decided to leave his team. He has his wife coaching him, so holding mitts for him, and she has no experience in martial arts. So he's basically just coaching himself.
How many has Perry lost in a row?
Oh, that's a good question. Let's see.
To me, like, he's one of the most interesting guys in the UFC because he hasn't had a win in so long, but he's still one of the most talked about guys. Everybody wants to see him.
Yeah, and rightfully so. He's entertaining as fuck. Like, you can't get around how entertaining this man is. Grappling, bro. He beat Al Alcorta in grappling. That's funny as hell. So he lost to Jeff Neal, lost to Vicente Luque.
Oh, he had some wins in the middle.
No, Alex Oliveira. Paul Felder, but he hasn't won in a minute, man. So Alex Oliveira was 2019, and then Paul Felder was July 2018.
Oh,
he's had a rough go recently.
He was looking really nice for a minute there, and then
Yeah, when he just started.
Yeah, when he just started, and he hits. His first loss was Alan Juba. I didn't see that one.
Yeah.
Pansini, but that's the one I remember.
Mm-hmm.
And then Griffin.
But then, yeah, so that's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun, and I mean, I'm not gonna go into a total breakdown of this week's card. I think, you know, some honorable mentions. I mentioned already last week, you know, what I think about is gonna happen this week. So I'll post that out. But before we go, you don't know, I always want to look out for the Jamaicans in the UFC particularly. I'm definitely going to feature more Jamaicans everywhere. Going to feature more Caribbean fighters generally. But one of the things I wanted to talk about was our boy Randy Brown, Rudebwoy Randy Brown, who by the way just started his YouTube channel, so go check it out, Rudebwoy TV on YouTube, subscribe. But yeah, and we're gonna have Randy on next week, so I don't even want to go into a full breakdown of, you know, this fight. I'm hoping to have Randy.
Does Randy live in Jamaica?
No man, Randy's in New York. But Randy's fighting Vicente Luque.
Big fight.
Big opportunity. Randy's ranked number 25 in the division.
Oh wow.
Right, so it's 25 welterweight. and Luke is way up.
What's his ranking?
Number 11.
That's a big
Big step up. So from 25 to number 11. So these are, massive opportunities. So both our guys, Uriah Hall and Randy, are, taking on big opportunities. And this is the game, man. This is what you gotta do sometimes. Dana White actually just made
so
a
we don't claim what's his name? Sterling?
Of course.
Oh, okay.
No,
okay.
you need to watch.
I already said both our guys because we have three guys.
But Aljamain is already up there.
Yeah.
Aljamain is there. Aljamain is our highest ranking fighter.
Yeah, he's like number 3 now, right?
No, man, number 2, man. Or number 1. Aljamain been up there, bro. Like, he was number 1 contender for a minute. And he hasn't lost.
I thought Yan is above him.
No.
Peter Yan is not ranked above him?
That whole situation is kind of weird, man. So, Aljamain, number 1. Yeah. He's been number 1 for a minute. That whole Peter Yan fight, Jose Aldo fight, is arms out in a virgin. Like, why the hell is that even happening?
Where's Peter
For
Yan?
the vacant belt.
What's Yan ranked?
Peter Yan. Number 3. Number 3. And both Jose Aldo and Peter Yan are lower than
So why are they
Aljamain.
fighting for the title?
This is the question. It's an arms out situation. Like, I don't understand.
Or no. Maybe what happened was it was after
It was
the
timing.
win. It was after the win that he ranked number 1.
Mm-hmm. He was ranked number 1 from before that.
Oh yeah?
Mm-hmm. By the way, our boy...
No. It was because of Cejudo. It was because Cejudo was going to
Cejudo
fight.
vacated.
Yeah, and that's what caused
And that's what happened. But still, and I mean, I guess Aljamain had already booked that last fight. But I still think they should just... Aljamain should be the one fighting for the vacant belt.
But they've already agreed that Aljamain gets the winner of that fight.
Yeah.
So it was just the timing, really.
Yeah, it's the timing, but it's still a fuck up situation.
Yeah, because they shouldn't be fighting for the title. It should be a round robin that the winner fights Aljamain for the title.
Exactly. Somebody should be fighting Aljamain for the title.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. So we have Randy Brown versus Vicente Luque, who, Vicente has beat some really good guys.
Yeah.
Has, gone the distance with.
It's a big test.
It's
Randy.
a super big test for Randy. And I don't want, like I said, I don't want to break it down. I want to talk to Randy next week, find out how he feels about it, what he's thinking, and then we're gonna break down the fight afterwards. Probably the week following. Or maybe even on the same episode, just later, But I do want to talk to Randy next week. So, Randy, I hope you can come on.
Good luck, brother.
Yeah, man. Big up yourself, bro. Good luck every time.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man. Randy's one of them brother who really support MMA here.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, man. And he has big plans for MMA here. And
Nice.
he wants to contribute even more. So I always big him up. And
I love how Aljamain after the last win say, "Yo, Dana, let's bring the title back to Jamaica."
yo,
Yeah.
the man say, Jamaica need its first. This could be Jamaica's first world champion. So next time we can do it in the stadium.
Yo.
Right here. Yeah, man. That's
Big
big things. You know about Rudebwoy boxing?
No.
So it's an interesting thing, and like I'm such a fan of combat sports, and there's this phenomenon that has been happening where, like, I watch street beefs. I watch, Strelka out of Russia. I watch, like, all of these little backyard boxing situations. I was a huge fan of, like, Kimbo. That's one of the reasons. I remember the first night I binge watched any kind of combat stuff. It was Kimbo Slice, and then went into Anderson Silva, and then went into, and you know what I mean. But there's this whole world of underground backyard boxing that people are so attracted to. They're so attracted to this raw form of people not very trained, just going at it and seeing who will come out on top. And so you have a guy here, Felipe, who is, he started this thing, Rudebwoy boxing, and then just have a little small ring where them put up its own rope. And I say, people just a box, and it don't look like. When it started, I don't think it was any professionals or even amateur boxers. It was just people them gather and them do the thing, and then to see where it reached now. And I play a little clip for you guys, so you can see kind of like what the vibes it reached now. I know.
Yeah, they actually came to me. It's him and this other guy. They came to me when they were in the initial stages when they had a concept about it because it was shot. They came up with it shortly after Contender was cancelled, and we had a long discussion about it. Actually, I wasn't so. I mean, people have done this before, yeah.
Yeah.
And it's gotten traction before it's gotten popular or whatever. I mean, so even in not for the ghettos, especially when Contender was happening,
Sure.
there were all these little ghetto spin-offs where people would do and it's always popular.
Yeah.
It's always popular, but I mean, as I said to them, I feel like it always hits a level.
And it will always will.
And it always will, because corporate sponsors don't want to touch events like this because it's not regulated.
Not regulated. There's. Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah. No. Continue.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, what also inevitably happens is that more skilled boxers get involved, more skilled fighters get involved, and then when the more skilled fighters get involved, the viewership actually declines, which is super interesting. Like, people don't necessarily like the reason people got involved in the first place and logged on
is to see that
is to see the raw form, is to see people
who are not trained,
just like going at it. And I mean, there have been exceptions. So you have like bare knuckle boxing and stuff like that. But you know, like, it's interesting to see how, you know, people because then why don't we just watch boxing?
But even bare knuckle boxing like that, even that, like, as far as I know now, those are trained fighters.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like so
you have a lot of UFC fighters gone over.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like if you're gonna do this kind of street thing or whatever, we just there's a ceiling that you're gonna hit because there's I mean, you'll always have this kind of box that you have to operate in because of the fact that, you know what I mean, like authorities won't legalize you because of what you're doing.
And then people can get hurt.
People exactly.
It still is fighting.
And sponsors are going to be afraid of it because it's not regularized or regulated. So it's.
Well, you know, I mean, it's funny you say that, but every one of the leagues I was talking about get sponsorship. They get sponsorship, and that's
is that locally or abroad?
Abroad and locally. So even Rudebwoy boxing, there's a Rudebwoy drink that is getting involved with them. This can happen.
Yeah, but people love it.
But there's also especially in a country like Jamaica where the boxing events, man, like, they're few and none.
Well,
after Contender
the
stopped,
scene is
there
dead.
was none.
The scene is dead. So
none.
people are clamoring for that type of.
It's giving people an avenue. It's giving people an avenue to and really how they coin it. And I'm really happy about how Felipe has coined it. He said they're glorified sparring sessions. Because that's what they are. They're just sparring sessions. So all we're really doing is sparring and taping it. And you guys can come and watch.
Oh, well, that's interesting then.
You know what I mean? And that's kind of like... That's a great way to kind of do it. Because, like, when you watch, like Floyd Mayweather's gym, like, their whole channel... They have a lot of sparring sessions there, and I mean, obviously great boxers. But yo, it's like people want to full out the gym for watching sparring, like, because it's proper sparring and go on.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I did want to big up Rudebwoy boxing and just talk about it a little bit and just say that, you know, I don't mind what they're going on with that. I like the fact that they're doing it.
Yeah, I know, it's cool, and then like I said, it's definitely something that fills a space. People want to see that right now. There's no boxing going on right now.
And hopefully it tells the sponsors and it tells corporate and it tells everybody that we want the events back, man. We need to see them back. And I know Stanley Coach does their events, and I wish I knew every time they were doing it because I want to come. I want to come to these events. But yeah, it does bring back that enthusiasm, and that's what needs to always be there. The enthusiasm. Jamaica has such an incredible history of super strong boxers. Yeah, bro.
Yeah.
It's been a minute and a half. Like, we've been at it, and so this was, you know, my first episode with a guest, and it was really, I wanted to bring in somebody who is a brethren of mine, and I know is comfortable in these kind of situations, and also is a big fan of combat sports. So
Yeah, it was a pleasure. I'm
thanks
happy.
for coming on.
Yeah, brother.
Blessings.
Big up, big up.
So this was MMA Jammin with the mighty Kyle Chin. Tune in and like, subscribe, click the bell for the notification. So when I post new stuff, I'm gonna post little clips so that you don't have to sit down and listen or watch this whole thing. But big up, stay safe, blessings, be mighty.
Okay.
Done it with the tune.
Brave and bold, highlight yourself before you like nobody else. Like yourself, go for what you want and not hide yourself. Yeah, man, you know why me hide myself? Both teach me how to dance.